In this lecture, we're going to talk about quality assurance and quality control, specifically in dental radiography. So we're going to just kind of move through these pretty quickly. There's only a few slides. Quality assurance we'll talk about first. And the definition of quality assurance is pretty simple. You have a plan or a schedule for the things that you're going to do to make sure that your radiographs are always the best quality. So if you have a plan that you're going to clean a processor every week, once a week, or you're going to change the chemicals out once a week, or you scrub the rollers once a week or every day, or however often you do that, the plan or the schedule to do that is your quality assurance. And an example that I like to give, just because it kind of puts it in a little bit more perspective, is that if you go to Target and you see the schedule on the restroom door, if you've ever gone to the restroom in Target, there's a little schedule on the restroom door of how often they're going to clean the restroom. So that schedule and that plan is their quality assurance plan. And if you think about, just add that third word, it always kind of helps clarify. You have a quality assurance plan or a quality assurance schedule. And in that schedule, you're going to list out your methods, your testing methods. So in your radiology quality assurance plan, you're going to list out the things that you're going to do and how often you're going to do them. And typically in a schedule, you're going to have who's responsible for doing each of those tasks. But the plan and the schedule is your quality assurance. Quality control, the definition of that, and I'm going to give you a third word to add, just like we did before. Quality control is the actual testing. So if quality assurance is your plan and your schedule, then quality control is your actual doing of what was in that schedule or what was on that plan. So the actual cleaning of the processor, the scrubbing of the rollers, the cleaning the processor, the changing of the chemicals, the actually doing it is your quality control or your quality control tests. And if you think about when you see these a lot, these terms a lot, you'll think about like food processing and things like that. So quality control testing is when they're testing food products to make sure that the bacteria count is low, the temperatures are right, the chemical makeup is what it's supposed to be, and you'll have people who actually taste it. Those are taste tests. Those are part of their quality control testing. The plan for how often they're going to do that is their quality assurance plan, but their quality control tests are the actual implementing of the plan or the schedule. So I like to kind of throw in here, just because we haven't specifically laid it out anywhere else, requirements for an acceptable film. And with your quality assurance plan and your quality control testing, the goal is to always maintain acceptable diagnostic quality films or diagnostic quality images. So the requirements for those would be that they are of the appropriate area. If a dentist asks for a periapical of tooth number 18, a good start would be if number 18 is actually in that image. So of the appropriate area, that the entire area to be examined is visible. If the dentist wants a periapical, they want to see the crown of the tooth, but they want to see the root and the area around the root. That's what periapical means, is the area around the apex. So if the apex of the tooth and the area around it isn't clearly visible, then they may have trouble diagnosing any issues from that image. So you've got the appropriate area is in the image, that the appropriate structures are in the image. Everything that you want to see is diagnostic and in that image. The next thing would be that your angulations are correct. We've learned a lot about vertical and horizontal angulations and how those can create the proper image that you want, but also how they can distort and change the image into an image that would not be diagnostic quality. So if your vertical angle is off, you can either foreshorten or elongate the images. If the horizontal angulation is off, you can cause overlapping. And if you're looking at a bite wing, that overlapping would make it non-diagnostic. So your angulations are going to be very important. You also want to make sure that it's the proper contrast and the proper density. The contrast is a setting on the machine that you just change, if you want the higher or the lower KVP. So that's going to be a setting on the machine. Density can be affected by a lot of things. That can be your exposure, that can be your settings on the machine. It could be part of your processing if you're using films. So there are a lot of things that can be involved in having the correct density, but you want to have the correct density, the correct contrast. And basically, those are going to be the things that the dentist is looking for. Does the image show you the area that they wanted? Is it the correct image? If they ask you for a bite wing, did you make a bite wing or did you make a periapical? Can they see the interproximals? Is it the correct area? Is it the correct tooth? Are the angulations correct so that you don't have distortion? Your contrast and density are correct so that the image is visible and can easily be read. So those are the things that they're looking for in a acceptable diagnostic quality image. Something to keep in mind if you are taking like a set of bite wings or a full mouth, even if every image isn't perfect, you want the image to look nice and look like you want it to look, but just because one image in a full mouth set or one image in a bite wing set isn't perfect doesn't automatically mean that it would need to be retaken. Very often, especially in a full mouth, if you didn't get the apex of the canine in the canine shot, you may have gotten the apex of it in the premolar shot by accident, or it may be visible in the central lateral shot right next to it. So that's why it's important to look at the set as a whole. Now, if you're just taking one periapical and you miss the apex, then that's a problem. But if you're taking a full set, a full mouth series, or a set of bite wings, missing something that you were trying to get in the image may not necessarily mean that it has to be retaken. And always remember, the dentist has to prescribe the radiographs to begin with, so they'll tell you what they want you to take. But then also when it comes to retakes, the dentist needs to look at them and tell you if you need to retake it or not. You can't just retake until you get the image that you want. In lab, very often I'll see students that go on their own and retake things, and they may retake an image 5-6 times, and every single retake looks exactly the same. If you aren't making a correction or getting some help to make a correction, very often you're just going to keep getting the same image over and over, and the retake may not have even been necessary if that area was visible in another image of the full mouth set or the bite wing set.